So sometimes you have projects that you want to do. Other days you have projects that you got to do. So today I got to do a project because something in my sprinkler system broke. So we need to take care of that today so that I don't lose my grass and my plants. So went away on a little trip, came back, and the front lawn was looking a little dry. So I kind of figured I've had water pressure issues in my secondary system in the past. So I thought I knew what it was. So I went to the PRV, pulled it apart, cleaned it out, looked at the filter for the secondary water, cleaned that, make sure there wasn't any obstructions. So did that, turned it back on, tested the water, 20 psi, way too low for my sprinkler system. So I tried adjusting the PRV. I either get 20 or 80, no adjustability. So the innards are shot on that thing. So I went to get a rebuild kit. Not available. People don't make them, which is kind of a pet peeve. It drives me nuts. So easily fixable, but no parts available. So you have to replace the whole thing. So looked at prices online, 65, big box store 90, plumbing specialty store 120. So I went with option A, ordered one. Showed up on my doorstep the same day. So that was kind of nice. So I'm going to replace the PRV because I know that is bad now. I'm also going to look at the ball valve. We'll just show you what's going on. So got a new PRV, if you don't know what one looks like, and that reduces the pressure, incoming pressure, which is basically 80 psi, and it's at a preset pressure of 50 psi. You can turn it up or down using the little screw on top, but 50 is great for my system. Added a ball valve over here, so I can easily turn the system on and off and do any kind of repairs on a sprinkler or that kind of stuff without shutting off the whole system and going to the main, pulling off that big heavy cover and turning it off. And then this is a filter that for my secondary water. So that was not closing all the way, so I want to pull that off and look at it. And then this is bad, it needs to be replaced. So easy enough repair. Probably not the most exciting thing. So I think what we'll do at the end of this is we'll fix it, get it working properly, and then maybe we'll do something fun at the end because, well, I'll just explain when we're done. So we'll get to that point. Okay. Kind of told you one of my pet peeves is things that are easily repairable, but you can't get parts for. So this is one of those things. So what has gone bad in here are parts that you can replace, but they're not available. So you have to just replace the entire unit. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So this cap covers up all the inner workings. So I pulled this apart and cleaned it last year and again this year, but I mean, after 6 years, and this is after me cleaning it, it is rusty. So you kind of see that spring, get in the picture there. That spring is kind of off to one side. I think it's lost its springiness. And I noticed that when I was trying to adjust it, it was either full on or full off. It's either 20 pounds or 80 pounds. You couldn't get anything adjustable in between. So I think what happened is this spring has lost its sprung. So I could, pull it out, replace it with a new one, but not available. So we just have to throw the whole part away and put a brand new one in its place. So that's what we're going to do real quick. And then I'm also going to check on this ball valve, make sure it's okay. But that's kind of what's going on the inside, and that's kind of what it irritates me, that you can't just replace a few parts in there and then reinstall the thing. I could have not taken this apart at all, pulled it apart while it was still attached to everything, change out some inner workings, and then be good to go. But now I'm replacing the whole valve. So let me check on this, make sure everything's good, and then we'll put everything back together, and then make sure it's working, and then we'll do something a little more fun than just a repair. Okay, so new valve. I did not replace this flange. I'm using the old flange just because plastics that sit out in sunlight with UV rays and stuff tend to degrade. I was trying to take that off. It was flexing this a bit too much, and so I go, I don't want to break my filter because this is kind of pricey too. So I'm going to leave the old flange on. I cleaned up the edge that it gets married to, so the old edge there, so it'll make a good seal. check the ball valve. Doesn't seem to be anything wrong with it, so I think there's a piece of debris that just got stuck in there. So reassembly, so easy enough. This side screws onto this side, the new valve there, and then there's a coupler in the middle. So the other thing to make this easier, where it's just a direct replacement, exact same valve is coming out, that's what's going in, is this is easy enough. If I wasn't concerned about this, I would just unscrew this and put the new one on. If you have a type where, like this is the exact same valve for my primary water for my home, my culinary water. So this is actually sweat onto the pipe. So in that case, I would also leave the old one if there's nothing wrong with it. It's, you know, a little weathered, but it works fine. So that'll save you some time and effort, especially if you're looking at it, oh, I can't do any soldering and stuff, I don't know how to do that. So you're gonna hire a plumber or something to do that for you. Buy the exact same valve, unbolt it, turn off your water, unbolt it, replace it, screw everything back together. You save yourself hundreds of dollars. So that's kind of why I like to do things myself. So with that being said, let's put it back together. We should be in good shape. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. You know, if I do that, that would help. There's an arrow on there for direction of flow. So incoming, out to the yard. So just match those up. Put the O-ring, use a little grease for that so you don't tear it when you're tightening things up. And then this side just screws on, so. Okay, that should be it. Preset to 50 PSI, which is what I need for my sprinkler. So let me go turn the water back on, make sure we don't have any leaks, and then we'll do something else. So I'll just let you know what it is. The thought is, if you ever worked with PVC pipe, it is not UV ray resistant. So if you just left PVC pipe out in the sunlight, it'll get super brittle. So what I did on these is I painted it with a latex paint. So the paint is being exposed to the UV rays, not the pipe. And then these are meant to be sprinkler parts. Brass isn't going to be hurt. Metal's not going to be hurt. I did notice this was getting a little bit brittle. So because of that, I think I want to make a little structure over this, not really to protect it from the weather, but to protect it from the sunshine. So I think it's some little rustic shed, maybe a 3-sided structure with a little shed roof on it, something like that. I got a bunch of old wood from an old fence and stuff. We'll try to do that. So this is the boring repair. Now let's do something fun to reward ourselves. Okay, so I got the water back on. No leaks where we did the repair or the replacement of the PRV. And I want to show you that the water pressure is back where it's supposed to be. So here's my little water pressure tester. Attach that to a hose bib that comes from secondary water. And valve comes set at 50 psi, and that's what we're sitting at. So that'll be great for the sprinkler system. So that is good to go. I did clean that filter again, the main one, and then just replace the PRV, which has a filter in it as well. So it was dirty again, so I think I might have to change that once a week just to do some maintenance on that, because secondary water is pretty dirty, gets debris and stuff in it because it comes out of the canal system. So I'm curious, anyone else has secondary water, I'm curious what your thoughts on it are. So there's a separate payment for it. I don't get charged by how much, but by the size of my property. So a little over a third acre, so I get charged between a third and a half acre price. So flat fee, use as much as you want, but it has its drawbacks in my mind. So curious what you guys think. Anyway, I was thinking for this little structure to protect it from the UV rays and stuff, I've got all this fencing that was left over from the previous owner. I like rustic stuff, so I just kind of held on to it. So maybe I'll do a nice solid frame and then use this stuff for the siding. Not sure what to do with the roof yet, but we'll come up with something. So that's where I am so far. Okay, so I've moved inside. It's a little easier because all my tools are in here. So I found some kind of warped 2x4x8s that I had kicking around. So I had a few of those. I was monkeying around with this because I needed to figure out the angles for the little shed roof I was going to put on there. So this is one of the end pieces. So we'll have one of those at each end. That's the little shed roof we're going to have on top. So I needed some time to figure out that, and I didn't want you to, either laugh at me or bore you on how I do that. So figured out the roof pitch, got all the pieces cut. I got to cut a couple more of the uprights out of those. I ran out of 2x4, so I'm like 2x3s or something like that for the other pieces that go the length of the structure. Got some OSB for the roof. Not sure if I'm going to use boards or I've got some shingles. I don't know if I want to shingle it and stuff because that'll start adding weight, but it's kind of where I am now. So I think I might just do a little time lapse and watch me put the thing together, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I basically finished up the frame with what I had in the shop. So I had a couple 2x4s, a couple 2x3s. So let's take a look at it real quick. Obviously, I would have loved to finish it all with 2x4s, which are what the sides are made out of. And then I had some 2x3s left, so that's what the length is. So it would have been nice to have 2x4s, but that's what I had. It is also not pressure treated, and the bottom's going to be touching the dirt. So I've got some of this copper green wood preservative left over from that woodshed project. So I'm going to paint at least the bottom part of that and give it a better chance of surviving. So I don't know if this is a permanent long-term solution to keeping the sun off of that valve, but I think it'll work pretty good. So I'm going to put the copper green preservative all over this, at least the base, maybe the whole thing. And then we'll go to putting up the sides and stuff like that. So let's get to that point. Okay, so it's the next day. I'm back in the workshop. I gave the structure overnight to dry, so it was pretty wet. I had to go to a barbecue last night, so it worked out good. So that is all dried now. I got the cedar planks. It's usually it's the old cedar you would use for fencing and stuff, but I think they use these for like garden boxes, so they've been in the dirt a while. They're in pretty bad shape, but I picked the best of the pile out of there, brushed them off with a wire brush. So what I'm going to do now is start putting those on vertically. So the idea is, got a spacer at the bottom. That's what that nice clean board is. I will, that way these planks aren't sitting in the dirt. It's the frame that's sitting in the dirt. So we'll get up to there. We'll mark the back side. So I've got the angle, and we'll cut those off. We'll put one on each corner. We'll do that on each side. And then if I have to rip a board to fit in the middle, which is almost guaranteed, I've got a skinnier board in the middle and not on the end. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I think I'll probably time lapse that, and you'll get the idea of what I'm doing, hopefully. So let's get to that point and move on from there. Okay, so I did a few things off camera. I attached the OSB for the roof. Let me show you what's going on. So attached the OSB for the roof. I threw a coat of spray paint on it because I didn't want to see fresh wood from a distance if this was supposed to be a, aged barn kind of look. So that's my surface to attach my roofing material to. If I had some leftover corrugated from the wood shed project, I would probably throw that on there. I do not. So what I do have is I have some old 3-tab shingles from the original storage shed that's out in my yard, that barn-shaped storage shed. So I'm going to use those because I have them. So the whole idea with this project is use stuff that I have sitting in the shop. So if I had tar paper, I would throw that on there. This is basically just to keep the sunshine off of that valve. It's not really meant to keep the rain and stuff off. So I don't think it's going to matter that much. This is aged wood already. So this is more of a looks thing than a functional, keep the rain off, all that kind of stuff. So I will throw some 3-tab black shingles I have on there. If I had the tar paper, I would do it, but I don't, so I'm not. So I think it'll look okay. And so I'm going to do that next. There's the old shed. Turned out about like I wanted it to. Thing with shed roofs is there's never a good way to finish off that top edge. So just took some shingles, added some nails in there, and used some roofing tar just to cover the nail head that I put in there. So got some on my fingers, used a little turpentine, got that off. Reminded me of swimming in the ocean in Florida. My grandpa would keep some gasoline in his trunk just to clean up the tar when we got out of the beach. So here's a better look. So I want to do the 3-side one just because now I have access to this side and it's facing the fence. So no one's really going to see this unless they get that in the back corner of my yard. So I still have good access. I can shut the system off. I can pull the filter out, adjust the PRV if I need to, but well, that's in good shape now. Looks like a snail moved in, so I'm kind of afraid with covering this, it's going to be the neighbor's cat house or snail house or black widow house or you name it. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed watching that one. I think that turned out pretty good. It was a little simple repair, and then we did a little something fun at the end there, so hope you enjoyed that. I did notice with the pressure working now, I've got some bad sprinkler heads, so I'm going to work on those for the rest of the day. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, smash all the buttons. Appreciate it. See ya.